Hello, everyone. Welcome to your daily Google News with Kasim and John.
Hello. That was a horrible intro.
Really?
No, me. I'm just like, hi.
Ah, surprise. I thought mine was smooth.
Yours was great. Mine, I'm just like so mesmerized by it. I'm like, oh, it's my turn. Hey.
It's my turn to speak. Yeah, well, I'm a podcast host now. By the way, if you watch our videos and you don't know, I'm the new co-host of the Perpetual Traffic podcast. Would love for y'all to tune in, maybe write a nice review.
I'm the one that heckles you on live chat.
Yes, I'm very aware. You and Yvonne. Awesome. What are we talking about today? DSA and something.
Yeah, so DSA and how it can be an amazing campaign, but you have to do a lot of work on your side first. And so that's what we're going to be discussing is how to check to see if DSA is going to work for you. DSA stands for Dynamic Search Ads. How to check to see if DSA is going to work for you, how to prepare for a proper DSA campaign to be launched, and then how to optimize it and what exactly to look for. So it's kind of like a DSA campaign. I get a lot of questions on DSA. It's one of our main campaigns that we teach. It's one of the main campaigns that performs, and it's just an overall good campaign that actually is starting to overtake a lot of keyword campaigns that people are running now. So yeah, I like them a lot. And so I wanted to kind of share the wealth of how to properly do it.
Awesome. And just to maybe segue into the specifics, can you provide something of an overview of why DSA is so different from general search campaigns?
No, not at all.
No, I'm done. I'll do it.
No. Yeah.
So
DSA, think of it like instantaneous SEO. It's that's the best way to describe it. So SEO is Google reads your page, understands your content, and then someone does a search and then says, well, that content's on your site and relevant. So I'm going to give you a placement on search and results page in the organic listings, and Google is to decide what page it shows. Imagine all that happening, only you're now going to be like number one or number two.
DSA is SEO you pay Google for.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Google found a way to not only do paid ads, but also pay for SEO. They're fantastic. But the good part about that is your ad copy is, well, like your headlines are written for you because it's what's on your site. You get to create a description, but it chooses the page and the headline. So if you like your website content, you're going to like your ads in DSA because your ads in DSA is your website content. If you like what you have as content on your site, you're going to like the search terms that are going to be showing for you. And that's what's really interesting is DSA can be a huge failure if you are producing content that's not transparent and honest about your service or your product. And so if you have a lot of salesy-esque type of content that's not really noun focused, Google's just not going to be able to give you good search terms. So you have to be
noun focused. John, explain that.
Well, if I have a product, or let's just say, or a service, and I'm saying it's the most effective use of your money possible to get the result that is amazing, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You have no idea if I could be selling, glasses.
Yeah, it's all the buzzword crap.
Right.
Just will, yeah.
Yeah, but if it's noun focused, person, place, or thing, like if you can tell Google and the user what you have and why it's good, then you can show for things like best or local or affordable or efficient, but it has to be accompanied with a noun. So
did you make that up? Is that the noun focused rule?
Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. Just because I look at a lot of sales pages and it's like the last thing you'll ever need. I'm like, okay, Google's going to show you for like the last,
the last action hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, like the last shoelaces you'll ever need. Is that what you're selling? No. Okay, well, tell me what you're selling, because Google's, think of Google like a 5-year-old kid. Like that's pretty much how you have to describe this. It's like, what is this? It's a gray water bottle. Aha! It's not the fantastic, hydrator. What the heck is that?
I've got a pro tip there, and it comes from one of our favorite thought leaders, Perry Belcher.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah. So Perry at a war room, it's actually really brilliant. Jarvis, the AI content writing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he uses Jarvis. Jarvis apparently, and I didn't know this until after Perry presented it, but he did a live demo. Jarvis will rewrite your content, but it will do so based off of a tiered selection that you provide, saying the level of education you want to write for. So you could take a title or page copy or description or whatever, plug it in Jarvis and say, give this to me at the 7th grade reading level. And Jarvis rewrites it, but it rewrites it in a really simple fashion.
Interesting.
And what's interesting about that is, I think every business owner ever, anybody who's ever written their own website content, ends up writing it like triple PhD level, because you know your shit better than anybody else is ever going to know it ever.
And then you're thinking, these people have to know I'm smart.
Yeah. And then you end up speaking so far over their head that, not only does it not connect with them, but it kind of disconnects with something that would be, algorithmic like Google. So one mild pro tip, if you're having a hard time with this, and you don't have to do it with everything, but head into Jarvis or something similar and go look for that 7th grade reading level, which, by the way, according to Perry, that's the line. That's where people are going to be the most engaged, because it's not that people are stupid, it's that the topic is new, and they're not giving you their undivided attention. They're not in AP calculus taking notes because there's going to be a test. They're kind of like, half-assed browsing.
You got to catch their attention.
Right.
So yeah. If I was trying to teach you about an advanced topic, I'm not going to use, industry specific, vernacular or buzzwords or, an acronym. But like, hey, is your CPC too low? You're like, the heck is a CPC?
I'm still really bad at that. Every talk I ever give, there's always, well, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm going to do that on the video today. So you'll see that in action.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all the value I have to provide, but let's jump into the DSA thing. Sorry to derail.
But no, it leads really well into what I'm about to share. So you're going to see a landing page, which is essentially just the client's homepage. But I'm going to have to blur a lot of this stuff out just so that I can keep their information confidential. But here's what's interesting. This is the last 7 days. Now, we don't run on weekends, so you're going to see Saturday and Sunday very low. We do run the brand campaign on the weekends, so that's why you're going to see some activity kind of drop and then pick right back up. So that's why you're seeing this dip here.
Why don't we run on weekends? That feels like we're breaking our own rule.
This is a bank-esque type of company.
Yeah, but if I'm taking a sales call right now, and a bank-esque type of company says I want to run on weekends, I'm going to push back on them.
Yeah, and we actually been running that way for close to a year. Yeah. And this changeover, what's interesting is our cost per conversion went up by about 10%, but the close rate went up by about 30%, because the people that are shopping around on weekends, all of a sudden Monday morning hits and it's a race to the phone to whoever can get the person first. And
so it's not even that the lead quality is lower, it's that your ability to qualify the lead is just higher if you get them on the weekday.
Yeah, if we can generate a phone call or phone fill when we can get a hold of them, great. You'll pay more for a higher percentile of close. And so
if this company took calls on the weekend, they'd probably make 15% more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And so what's interesting is like our cost per conversion right now is $59, which seems high, but we have 30% conversion rates. And we're only run DSA and a brand campaign, but DSA is still 30%, 25%, and this is a new campaign that we just launched in 2 different states. But what's really interesting is like our manual CPC is running at 25% conversion rate. And then our target CPA is running at 30% conversion rate, still fairly same cost per conversion. Bidding strategy doesn't really matter here, but here's what does matter is in a DSA campaign, we're trying to spend about $500 a day. I'm running 5 days a week. So it's still spend the full budget and we're limited. And it's like, hey, you can actually spend, $1,500 per day and you get 27 more leads. It's only going to cost $27 more per lead, which is still good. We need to be about $100 or less in this campaign or this account. But here's the cool part. So in this DSA campaign, I'm just going to call this one my main campaign. That's what we're spending the most amount of budget on. And to prove this, and I didn't just have like a good week. Let's go back to the August or September.
Dude, I know I'm derailing. I'm going to pause you, but every ad I see for an ad manager, they always have a snapshot, and I look and it's like always like 7 days. Like an absolute most.
June 16th, 2019.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, good for you.
Yeah, so that's why I always do this, because it's like, okay, we pick the best one.
Gerrymander your dates, really well done.
Right. You'll see that we've been ramping up, and even before our conversion rates were 22.9, now they're 30. So it's getting better, over time. But still $81 cost per lead, 268 conversions. Overall, 25% conversion rates, 26 in Kentucky, 22 in the regular DSA. It's just been getting better. Last 14 days, our it's at 27% now in DSA. Last 7 days, we're up to 30. So yeah, nice. Even going back further, it was worse. So I didn't just pick the best time. It's getting better, which is great. But here's what's cool is in this campaign. Now you're gonna have to trust me on this one because it's gonna be blurred. But I set my dynamic ad targets to 2 pages that had an overlap, which means Google basically said, hey, these pages are pretty much similar, so we're only going to run one. So I'm just going to go to the all enabled, but you're going to see a blur right here. It's the homepage of the website, and I'm only targeting the homepage. I'm not targeting any other pages. Now, the homepage of this website has amazing content on it, and I have to show the homepage. So we're going to blur out the URL. We're going to blur out the logo, but I really want to show this because this is how powerful this tool has become. So let me just grab the URL here. Apologize that this is going to be blurred, but the area that I want to focus on is this area here. And this area down here is going to be blurred out because that's the company name, so I apologize about that. But focus on this. Lawsuit loans simplified. Get the money you need before your case settles. DSA campaigns scan the page. When they scan the page, it reads top to bottom, left to right. And it takes a priority list. Whatever is the most important to Google is what's at the top of the page. And then a priority of less important, less important, less important, the further down you get. So we see here lawsuit loans simplified, get the money you need before your case settles. Okay, well, let's look at the search terms that we've been generating in the last, I don't know, let's just do like the last 30 days. If we look at the search terms, you can see we're not bidding on any keywords. There's no keywords in this campaign. It's DSA. Google's creating those keywords for us. Sort descending by conversions, and you'll see that the conversions actually stop here. So we have a lot of conversions for a lot of keywords that are all different. But see how it says pre-settlement funding, pre-settlement loans, settlement loans same day, lawsuit loans without an attorney, best lawsuit loan companies, lawsuit loans in Florida. Pre-settlement lawsuit, interesting. Well, lawsuit loans, that's here. Check out, how do we get pre-settlement funding? Well, pre-settlement funding.
When it's in the title too, look at the page title.
Mm-hmm. So when you said pre-settlement funding and it's in here, we're telling Google, yeah, get the money you need before your case settles. Google knows English. So it's going to identify common
Google
denominators.
speaks American.
Google knows American, 1A. So that's what's interesting is we know that Google can read English. So if the title of your page is something like inspiration, no, not going to work. You have to take the old Ezra Firestone model. And Ezra Firestone was like his page title, his H1 was like a paragraph. It worked though. It was really cool. It worked. But that's how Google is going to do this. It's going to read your H1 through H6 tags, your site titles, your descriptions, your alt image tag. It's going to do an SEO type of scan on your page and say, whatever you tell the world of who you are, that's what we're going to give you.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You know, from an SEO perspective, I remember when we around the time we stopped doing technical SEO publicly, there were really 5 key factors, right? It was, and I'm going to forget probably, but it was SEO friendly URL, title tag, H1 tag, meta description, and alt tags for images.
Mm-hmm.
And the meta description wasn't considered in the algorithm, but it was used for preview text, which helped with CTR. Yep. So are those 5 enough, or are there more to take into consideration with DSA?
There's more to take into consideration because it depends on what you're scanning. So as an example, if I have one page on my website for a service that's not found on my blogs, my homepage, any other page, I'm going to scan that one page. Now that one page becomes your entire website into Google. You're like, hey, scan that page, ignore everything else. Okay, does that one page have all the content I need to know where to get the search traffic from? And if not, DSA is not going to run for you. If so,
does DSA function like smart shopping at all, to where, you know, somebody comes in on product A but buys product C? Can you start to see somebody's conversion path from a page perspective?
You can. It's going to take an analytics overview to look at the behavior.
Yeah, well, I know how to do the analytics, but I'm just curious as to whether or not DSA will, like, if you have 3 pages, will DSA, you know, like data-driven attribution inside of the, you know what I mean?
It will, because but what's going to tell you is, hey, this keyword brought a conversion. Now, if you have your conversion set up properly, like a white paper, a contact form, a free demo, whatever it is, it's going to say, hey, that keyword is getting you demos. That keyword is getting you contact forms. So like, that one should be giving us demos, and that one's kind of exploratory. Why is that going to, schedule a call? So if you have your if you have your conversion path, if you have your conversion set up properly, you'll be able to see what keyword is on what page delivering you what conversion. So yeah, you can absolutely see that, and that's actually here. Inside of this, you'll actually see landing pages. Now, our landing pages are just one page, but you'll be able to say, hey, this landing page brought you these conversions, then you can segment by conversion action.
Conversion action. Yeah.
Exactly. And see that I have, oh, the app submits. Like these are people filling out the form on the website. So yeah, you can actually, and then if you wanted to overlay search terms, you can do that as well.
So dude, that's huge. I just want to meditate on that for a minute, because with the new direction that we want everybody to head, which is more omni-channel, full funnel, your ability to see what people are doing where in your customer value journey, especially if you are running full funnel traffic, I think that could be a really big deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Google's kind of pushing that, it's rewarding it. If you are who you say you are and people like what you have to offer, you get better placement and awesome results. And it's like, wow, be honest, like that's a novel idea. Just
tell the truth,
build a quality service or product. Yeah, that's what's really cool. Now there's a way though that DSA won't run. If you're a newer company, what you have to do, this is the step that people miss, is you have to go to Google Search Console. Again, these in here in the middle are going to be blurred, but you have to go to Google Search Console, take an instance down of Google Search Console. So they don't just give you Google Search Console. You have to go to search.google.com, verify that you own the domain through many different variables or many different options, whether it's analytics or Google Tag Manager, dropping an HTML code in the header, whatever it may be. And then once you own a Google Search Console account, go into your sitemaps and you have to drop your sitemap here and submit it. And now this part's going to be blurred here on the left side, but what this is the sitemap URLs. So this will be blurred here, but just imagine that's your URL with the sitemap. And then after you submit them, like we submitted these on September 17th because we had a site update, but it'll read that very frequently. This is Google scanning the page. So if you make a change on your site, don't just expect DSA to pick it up because you made changes. You have to resubmit that through Google to say, hey, Google Search Console, which is an SEO tool, please rescan my page and give me the proper listings in the search and results page based on those keywords. Well, the only way Google can do that is by scanning your page and seeing what you've updated. But you have to go through an SEO tool in order to scan the page, in order for Google to say, aha, you've made an optimization to the page. I'm going to give you a different search term for it. So if you haven't submitted your URL to Google Search Console, make sure you do that, because then Google will have a really clean, up-to-date, not 6-month-old version of your site, because otherwise people are like, well, I'm making change to my content. Why are my search terms changing? Because Google hasn't rescanned the page yet.
Just talking about some of the dangers of DSA, and I've heard you say this before, so I'm stealing it from you, but things like always exclude the blog because the blog is going to go off the rails and it has all these topics that might not necessarily be relevant. Google's going to spend a bunch of money on. Like, what other
always exclude your brand name. Yeah, always exclude your brand. Always exclude your brand name. DSA is like, oh, I scanned the page and I found this word on your site. Well, yeah, that word just happened to be your brand, and people usually convert when they type in your brand name. So Google's just going to say, hey, well, that's a relevant word. Just maximize conversions or maximize conversion value or target CPA on that. Maximize all the things right there, just on that one brand keyword.
Yep. Why are DSA key phrases logged under exact match?
Why are DSA key?
When you look at DSA reporting, the search terms are all categorized under exact match.
Oh, I don't know. It's because there isn't actually a keyword. They actually
then that's what I'm saying. There's no match type.
There isn't a match type. Yeah.
But I think there's something there. There's something telling, like Google told us something without telling us something. You know what I mean? Like,
I would love to think that that's true. It's probably just because Google hacked together a search campaign.
Nope.
Well, here's
there's a conspiracy there.
I guarantee you I'm right. And here's why. I have a new DSA campaign that has scanned the page. It says it doesn't have any matches yet because it was a brand new website that just went live like 3 days ago. So I'm waiting for Google Search Console to scan it. And the recommendations tab, it says this campaign is not live. And it's a DSA campaign. It says, go ahead and add keywords. Yeah.
What happens when you try to add keywords? Where does it
you can't.
Well, I know, but I mean, like, what is it? Does the button do anything? Does it bring you to the campaign?
It just brings you to the keyword page where it says no keywords available.
Oh,
yeah, and that's why I was like, Google they like, well, that thing kind of works, and just hack off those 2 features and move it over here, and then the leftover.
So here's what I think is going on, and I'm right. Google exact match is a more expensive match type, right? You pay more for exact match.
I like it.
So Google with DSA is giving the search terms and had to decide where to put it. They might as well put it in the expensive box.
You're probably 100% right. Yeah. And they're going to probably come out with something where it's like perfect match and 10x that cost. That's probably what's going to happen.
Perfect match.
Because exact match isn't
exact match where we don't lie to you.
I know. I love how you bid on an exact match key phrase. They charge you 10x and then the parentheses underneath is like close variant. It's like, Just call it phrase match then.
Yeah, dude, and they're getting so broad, like it's unbelievable. Exact
Oh, yeah.
match, you know, the variants used to actually just be kind of variants, and you sort of saw, you're like, all right, I see why you're doing this. You know, Google Ads agency, Google Ads company. It's like I see that now. Now they're just like lawnmower repair.
Yeah, like I search grass. Like, yeah, that's lawnmower. Yeah, rides on grass. You get it. It's close variant. I had one where it was pay per click marketing was a keyword that I was bidding on, and it is an exact match. And they matched me for PPC. They turned it into the acronym and gave me that. I'm like, it's not what I want. Like,
Yeah,
I already have a PPC keyword. Thanks.
Google knows better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's the way that DSA works, and I think that there's you know there's a lot to be said for that in starting out. If you have an existing website that has some traffic and you don't know what keywords to run DSA first. It'll tell you.
Oh, what a good idea.
Yeah, it'll tell you all the keywords that you should now start going after proactively with forced ad spend. Or run your website
so there's
through
the
Google.
same problem there, though, with Google's. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, use Google Keyword Planner, scan your site, see what it would have given you if you ran a DSA. That will tell you, hey, if you were to run, if you scan this page, here's the keywords we're matching right now. You're gonna get those in DSA, or sorry, in your search terms.
My problem with DSA is the same problem that we have with smart shopping, which is Google's going to sell the thing that's easiest for it to sell, not necessarily the thing that is going to make you the most money. And so, you know, there's a bunch of products in smart shopping campaigns that'll just eat through your budget because Google's like, oh, there's a ton of visibility we can go get for this, and it's not necessarily what you want.
I have we don't have time for this because we only have about 2 minutes left on the video. You can take DSA and turn it into a monster. And it's called, I have it called extensive DSA. And this is another campaign that I can't share with you the whole, whole thing, but this one's called extensive DSA. And we spent in the last 7 days, 1,000 make 5,000. And I got to blur a bunch of these out, so I apologize. But all of the ad groups are each individual product categories based by manufacturer. And then each manufacturer's ad group has dynamic ad targets that are, this is one of my ad groups here, is 147 dynamic ad targets. And that means that I've taken Google Ads and said, Google Ads, scan these 900 page, break them out between product manufacturer, set individual target CPAs based on the product manufacturer, based on the profit margin of those products in that category. And then I can increase and decrease the CPA target in order to funnel more or less ad spend based on performance for those products. You can get crazy with DSA.
Well, that should be next week's video.
We'll do that next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I have to like blur out everything. So like, imagine all your products here because they're all website URLs.
At least, well, I won't say it. Yeah. If you're watching this video, we shoot one every day. Like, comment, subscribe. And other than that, we'll catch you on the flippity flip. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know we actually know what we're doing. We shoot a video every single day. So if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any input, don't hesitate to hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We get very little human interaction. Thanks for supporting our channel, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.